Welcome to the 4th of July, Freedom is Dead, America, Verge of Destruction live stream special, where we're going to celebrate the great U.S. and all of its contributions and how free it really is and how much it really is on the verge of destruction. I'm hoping that you can all hear me or none of it will make sense. I've had problems in the past where people cannot hear these live streams. Is this a problem of YouTube or is it a problem of me not knowing how to live stream? No one will ever really truly know for sure. So yes, if you're out there and you're watching, please let me know if you can indeed hear me or if I need to fix it. I'm going to assume if nobody's responding that you can all hear me and I don't need to fix it. I have here the candle of peace. It's a peace candle. And it's covered in some red wax and cracked because it shows how America has not always been peaceful and its peace is stained in blood. So we should light the candle of peace. I'd call it the candle of freedom, but then it would probably burn the house down. The whole freedom thing gets out of hand. Well, the candle of peace has now been lit. Eternal peace forever and ever and ever. I can go over there where I'll forget about it until it burns something down. Yeah, by the end of this, everyone's going to probably think I hate the U.S. I don't really. I just don't think there's a lot. I believe a lot is broken that could be fixed if people just listen to me. It's really all that needs to be done is people just need to listen to me. No, but I don't see anything over there. All right. I think society is in a whole is crazy. I'm starting to actually believe I might be truly, truly crazy. Well, no one's saying that they can't hear me, so I'm assuming that means everyone can hear me and see me. And they say a crazy person doesn't know they're crazy because it's not crazy to them, therefore it's normal. That's how I feel when looking at society. I feel that, well, no, I mean, I don't feel society. I look at society and I can't understand it the way things are. It makes no sense to me. Certain things. This whole working system, this whole money thing, I just can't believe people fell for it. Because when I look at the whole money situation, I just see a way of taking a group of people and enslaving them. That's what I see, but nobody else seems to see it that way. I don't get it. I hear everyone complain about working, though. I've never met anyone that's truly, truly happy working. I mean, no one that wouldn't quit their job if they could. So this working thing is unsatisfying. Nobody likes it, but everyone keeps doing it. Don't people realize that if you just all stop playing the game that you wouldn't have to anymore? If everybody just stopped going to work, then we wouldn't have to deal with the whole work thing anymore. We could get rid of it by just not participating in it. And you're going to wonder, but how would things get done? Well, because there's just certain things you want done, and people that wanted it done would just get it done. I'm being attacked by flies now. It's because I lit the peace candle. And the candle of peace. Oh, that's as close to fireworks as we're going to have, too, as the peace candle, so enjoy it. There you go, and enjoy your 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 fireworks. Woo! It's awesome and spectacular. Yeah, it drives me insane. The government bugs me. Just how intrusive the government's become. I think back to when first heard about UAs. I was a little kid back then. And the only reason I remember it is it was just so ridiculous. I didn't really know what was going on. I was a kid. I didn't understand the whole UA thing. I knew that a bunch of people were pissed off that their kids were now having to take UAs to play sports, and there's such the our privacy's being invaded, and now it's just standard that people want to take your piss and look at it and examine it. I just don't get it. And once again, I mean, if we just all stopped agreeing to it, then they wouldn't be able to do it. I think a lot of us have become. I think we're just lazy and just don't want to rock the boat. It's just easier to go to work and bitch about going to work and just give them your piss for no good reason. I mean, I think sports would be better if you could use the enhancements. I mean, think of the great games we would get. People could play with broken limbs. It'd be great. Actually, I don't care about sports one way or the other. Whether I'm not a big sports fan. I see sports as another one of those things that is designed to keep people enslaved, and it's an outlet for aggression that without sports we would maybe let that aggression out in a different way, like maybe taking over the government and telling them to go to hell. But no, we can watch sports and we can get invested behind these teams, and then that's our, you know, it goes back to the Romans did that with the gladiators, and the gladiator games were just to keep all the peasants in line and give them something to do so that they weren't thinking about overthrowing the government. Therefore, I boycott sports, and I find it boring. Playing sports is one thing, but I don't really get any kind of satisfaction out of watching other people succeed at something physical. But I'll throw a damn parade if I take out a heavy garbage bag because I overcame it. I've conquered the garbage, king of the garbage. That could be my legacy. Mr. BPD, king of garbage. It sounds right. It sounds fitting. Yeah, I'm rambling incoherently. Getting stoned before live streaming is definitely recommended, I would say, because then you can just ramble on about things and nobody knows what the hell you're talking about because you don't even know what the hell you're talking about. You can just bounce from people looking at your piss to football is enslaving the U.S. Chihuahuas. Who ever thought of making that ugly, vicious creature? I hate chihuahuas. With a passion. I think we should eliminate all of them. Let's see, I wrote some stuff down just in case this happened and I forgot what I was intending to talk about. That's not right. That's notes from a previous video. That's horribly wrong. Okay, maybe I just was under the belief that I'd written stuff down, when in fact I had not. Well, that was smart. Let's see. Oh, I'm sure there's a list somewhere around that had things that I was going to talk about. I know it was all about... oh, here we go. I found it. So, hating government seems to be the main thing I wanted to talk about, was not liking the government, thinking that they have way too much control these days. Even though, in actuality, it might not be the government at all. It might be tech companies, I think, have the real power, maybe. Or even the big corporations, the main six, could have more power than the government. I mean, with all of the... I don't like to get political, but with all the money that's in politics these days, I would say that who has the money controls the politics, so that would probably be the big six companies. So what kind of world would I like? Or what if I bitch about how I don't like government, and I don't like people looking at my pee, and I don't like sports, then what do I like? What would I want? If I could do things my way and people would actually listen to me, what kind of world or US would we live in? Probably, well, it'd be very different for one. We'd get away with the money system, because I don't like the money system. We'd come up with something different. Or, we could keep the money system even. I mean, I'm not against goods being traded for pieces of paper. I'm against certain goods not being... See, I want like a half type of a system. It's where basic need things are just given to people. Why? Because they're human beings, and human beings, I believe, deserve some things just for being human beings. Does that mean that other people might have to work harder? Maybe, but I don't care about that. I just care about the fact that I believe there's certain things that just everybody's entitled to just for being alive. Some would say that I have a sense of entitlement, but my sense of entitlement's for everybody. And I don't think they're major things. Number one would be food. I believe everyone is entitled to food. I mean, food is one of those main things you need for survival. Without food, you will perish. Therefore, why should anyone go without food? Now, you might say that, and I'm not talking, this is just the U.S. I'm going to talk about, since it's the 4th of July, and the U.S. that I would like. So those people out there that are in places where food is hard to come by, I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about the U.S. And right now, currently, the U.S. has plenty of food to go around for everyone. There should be nobody that goes without food. We have more than enough. It makes me sick that we actually will refuse to give hungry people food because it will upset the profit of a company. When I was working for McDonald's, that was a hellish time, and I don't recommend ever working for McDonald's. There were the homeless people that'd come around for food, mostly because, well, I'd give them food at the end of the night, which I got in trouble for. I was told I couldn't do it, that I had to throw it away, and that's what I was doing. I was throwing it away. I just wasn't throwing it away where they wanted me to. I wasn't throwing it in the dumpster. I would throw it at the homeless people. Hey, they got to eat. I got to throw food at them. It was a win-win. They were fine with it. It wasn't degrading to them at all. No, I didn't throw it at them, but I'd put it in a garbage bag, a different garbage bag than the regular garbage, and I'd put the food that we're going to toss in there, and instead of throwing it in the dumpster, I'd just hand it off to them. Why not? Did more and more homeless people then suddenly start descending upon this McDonald's until there were so many homeless they it was like a horde of zombies and destroying the establishment? No. It didn't change anything except for people got to eat. McDonald's didn't see it that way though. Because then they started saying that I was stealing food from McDonald's. So this food that we were going to throw away, since I did not throw it in the dumpster, then it was stolen property. I had this meeting with the district manager over it because I just kept fighting it and wouldn't accept that I couldn't give homeless people food or hungry people. They could have a home. I'd still they're hungry people food. At some point, I was in this meeting with a district manager, and then they said that one of the reasons for this is they don't want people at the end of the shift making an abundance of food that they're not going to sell just so they can take it home. And I was like, okay, well, that has nothing to do with what I'm talking about. I'm not taking the food home. I'm just giving the food to hungry people, and I'm not making an abundance of food for said hungry people. So that argument didn't match up at all. Then they said some shit about how the food would be better off with no value. Like once I would give it to a homeless person, then it has value more than okay, so it gets weird. So when I throw it, when it's garbage, when it's just garbage that we're throwing away, when it's waste, is a different price than the prepared food, because the prepared food is being served or sold at the price that they jack it up to, whereas the other stuff's at cost. It was weird. So food basically was worth less if I threw it away, and then it was stupid, and I don't like that. So food, I would say that everybody's entitled to food. You can eat. And so you could just go to the grocery stores and get what you want. Now, there's going to be... I think food's something you should be able to have. Now, of course, they'll can't let it go crazy, right? You can't have people, like, just going nuts. Why not? No, we'll let them go nuts because I don't see a downside to it. Some people are going to see a downside. I don't see a downside. You're going to say, well, everybody's going to decide that all they want is shrimp, and then we're going to run out of shrimp. Well, then we run out of shrimp. So be it. Next would be shelter. I believe that everybody is entitled to a shelter to protect them from the elements of nature. Having been homeless more times than I would like, nothing is as shitty. Well, okay, no, there are things that are shittier, but one thing that is very shitty is not having a shelter, a home, a residence, and the constant worry of losing said home and residence. It's something I struggle with all the time. For the last 20 years, I think I've been dealing with never having some place that I really felt wasn't temporary. I'm always a slave to landlords and homeowners, and I don't think people should have to pay for a place to live. There are there are enough homes that have been foreclosed and taken by the banks that now sit rotting and empty that no one should be homeless in the U.S. There are homes. There are plenty of them. And they're still building more just so they can be empty. It's one of those things that I don't understand it. I don't get it. Apparently, it's probably cheaper or more cost effective to have the home be empty than to have somebody live in it that's not paying money. So what do we got here? Basic things. We got food, and we got a shelter of some sort. And I don't mean a shelter like a homeless shelter. I think people should be able to have. I mean, we have plenty of empty homes. Let people have them. This next one is one I'm kind of on the fence about. But I'm going to go with it because it's one that I do believe we're being lied to about. And that is power, electricity. I think electricity is a big scam. I mean, the amount that my electric bill is insanely stupid compared to how much I don't. Anyway, I don't think we should have to pay for electricity. I think electricity is such a part of life nowadays that you kind of need it to survive, to function. Like I said, I'm on the fence about that one, but yeah, I hate the power company enough that if I was in charge, power would be free. Fuck them. They would be done with their big, trying to tell me that fucking I turned on a light and it cost $40,000. What light costs $40,000? Huh? Electric company, you tell me that. You sons of bitches. So yeah, free power for everybody in the U.S. if I'm in charge. There's an election coming up. I don't think I'm gonna win it though. Electricity. There we go. And the electricity one mainly goes with the other ones. That's why I included it. Because a lot of food, you need electricity to prepare said food. Also, for your dwelling, your shelter to protect you from the elements, a lot of times electricity is needed for cooling and heat. Therefore, you don't have it, you die. There are people that die because they don't have electricity yet. So we've got everyone can eat and be warm and have a place to sleep. Next would be healthcare. That one is a huge scam, and there's no way that you can. The healthcare one is one I don't understand. Is how people don't understand that one's a scam, and how can you be behind a government that won't give its citizens health care? I don't get it. A government cannot say they care for their citizens if they're going to let them die because they don't have health insurance. But the same could be said about a government that would let its citizens go hungry, freeze to death. I mean, are people really stupid? Or do we all know the government doesn't give a shit, but we just don't care? And why don't we care? I wonder. I mean, I do. I do care. And I stopped playing the game. I don't work. That is my way of saying screw you to the government, Well, I don't work their things. I won't. I mean, I will work if I feel like the job is something that needs to be done. This working just to work thing, yeah, I don't do. McDonald's type stuff, Walmart. Fucking Walmart's the goddamn devil. Yeah. Fucking that person that will take one document from one person and then take it to another person. Why do? Yeah, I don't do that job either. So what do we got? So we got food, shelter, healthcare, and stuff. Okay. And that's, I think, about all that is on my list that I think just people are entitled to. Basic needs is what I consider these to be. I didn't put education on there because you can be stupid and it doesn't kill you. I mean, well, okay, stupidity can kill, but not in the same way. We have gotten to a point where we protect stupidity. We go out of our way to protect the stupid. So I think the stupid are protected. I do believe that people should have free education. I mean, if your citizens are intelligent, then your society is going to be better off, in my opinion. This, but it seems that those in power, since they don't give a shit and they don't want they don't want us to be smart, because then we'd realize these motherfuckers don't even care if we fucking live or die. Why are we playing the game? And then we'd probably get guillotines out and it'd get bloody, but afterwards things would be cool. So who pays for all that? Nobody pays for it. It's a basic thing. Nobody needs to pay for it. I can't wrap my head around not paying for something. No, nobody would pay for it. I mean, most of it's there already. I mean, we have a surplus on food that we just throw away. We've got homes that aren't being used that nobody cares about, except they don't want to give them up because the land is worth more than the home. So the healthcare thing, if you take what the healthcare company jacks everything up to, that pays for it right there. Just get rid of all the extra shit that's not necessary. I mean, you can't tell me that an aspirin really costs $100,000. If I have insurance, the aspirin only costs me like $20, but without insurance, it's $20,000 for an aspirin. So I just don't buy it, and I can't look. They won't show me what they pay for the aspirin. So most of the stuff we already have. It's just they like to pretend that there is this, that we don't have an abundance, which we do. We have an abundance of a lot. It's just they don't want to give it away because then people would be, yeah, it makes my brain hurt thinking about it. But see, I'm completely crazy too, though. So I've been told. And I'm entitled, which I've been told that too. And lazy, so I mean, of course I'm going to say these things. Yeah, I want my neighbors to pay for my stuff. That'd be awesome. No, I don't want my neighbors to pay for nothing. I'm not asking my neighbors to go buy me a car or nothing. And I'm not asking my neighbors to pay for anything. I'm not even asking for anything. I would be making it so nobody had to pay for surviving, for living. No one would die because they couldn't afford a basic need. And with that, a society would be doing way better. Where it would be worth it if my neighbor were to pay for these things, because the things that I would accomplish afterwards would help my neighbor out. I mean, okay, so my neighbor, let's say he's paying for my food, if we want to put it that way, right? So while I'm not hungry and searching for food, and since I'm not hungry and searching for food, I notice that person that's trying to break into their house and stop that burglary. That saved them. That's how these things work, cause and effect. Or some other great thing that I saved my neighbor from. My neighbor doesn't pay for shit now though, so I don't care. I could watch somebody break into his house. I wouldn't even call the cops because screw him. He don't care if I eat. So no, that's not true. I'm sure I would lend a hand somewhere. Let's see what else. I had something else here that would prove my point, I think. Ah, yeah. Then there's all like things that we pay for that just we're just paying just to pay for them. I would get rid of. These are all safety things, so it would start thinning out the herd too, and then we'd have more food for everybody else. Like all safety stuff, I'd probably get rid of. Well, not safety equipment per se, but permits and stuff. Like I'd get rid of. Like, if you wanted to build, just build. Screw it. Who cares if it collapses? But hopefully people. No, that's the pot talking. I'm losing my train of thought here. Pretty much, there's reasons why it would be a challenge. I'm not saying it would be super easy, but I do believe as human beings that we should care enough about other human beings to go through that challenge. Um, like I would it upsets me that people die because they're hungry and freezing and I mean I could have very well have been there. I could very well be there. And how, as a society, how do we all go about our lives when we don't care about those around us? Just, I believe that that is wrong. Now, I'm not saying that I'm good at it. I mean, uh, I really, I don't have much empathy for a lot of people. I'm very judgmental. And I like to believe that people like put themselves in certain situations. I'll see homeless people and assume that they're just lazy, dirty, rotten people. Even though I've been homeless before, it wasn't always just because I was a dirty, rotten person. I mean, a lot of the issues in my life has just been lack of money that has made my life very difficult. Where if certain things like the food, shelter, those things were not something that I was constantly worried about, I would have better quality of life. Therefore, I would produce better things and be more likely to want to give back. Whereas it's such a struggle now that it just makes me want to do the opposite. And then it's not just about me either. This is just why I can understand, or I think that I feel for other people that are out there that aren't having basic needs met. And the financial issue of it and what we will be losing by giving these people, so you speak, giving them things. These people, I believe, will produce better works. Will they all? No. But I think the majority would. I think there would be more of a gain than a loss overall. But that's just my opinion. I could be wrong. I might be wrong. Who knows? We're never going to give it a chance anyway, so it's just all talk. Well, I hope you all have a great 4th of July. And here's your peace candle. I'll let you see it one last time. Woohoo! Peace candle. Not a freedom candle, because if it was a freedom candle, it would just burn the house down. Until next time, keep on keeping on.